The Acura MDX has been around for a while, and this is the 4th generation, but it is the first generation to have the Type S badging, which gives it the Type S performance and a lot of other special goodies. So you're going to start seeing this Type S going across the lineup, but the first vehicle is the 2023 Acura MDX, and we're going to show you this one is in Tiger Eye Yellow. It is really a pretty goldish color. Tons of metal fleck in it. It almost looks like that 80s boat color, but it is really cool in the sun and it's actually almost blinding, so we shot this in the shade for you. So I want to get started with what makes this vehicle look different and what makes this Type S different than a regular MDX, which is a 3-row SUV. Starting off with this black grille, you'll notice that the surround is body color. There's no chrome here. Gigantic Acura logo. They're running to see who's got the biggest logo. It's between Acura and Mercedes at this point. I don't know why they make it so huge, but it's a great place to hide all those safety features, which is what they do. The cameras are hidden in there as well as some of the sensors. You'll also notice that down below it's all black, additional air cooling, which is required when you have a higher performance motor, and that black splitter across the bottom to give it better airflow. Now, one thing I did notice when I started driving this is when you stop at a traffic light, the front end will settle down. If you set it into the different drive modes, it'll rise and fall, and that is all because it is actually an adjustable suspension system. We'll talk about that during the drive portion, so you'll want to stay for that. All MDXs have LED lighting, both front and rear, really nicely integrated into this really cool muscular looking hood. Down below you have ventilation here, and this is going to be not just for brake cooling, but you got to keep this engine running cool any way you can because it does have a lot of performance. Our test vehicle is the top of the line trim level with the advanced pack and all those Type S goodies. And one of the things you're gonna notice right away is these beautiful alloy wheels. They're 21-inch and they're running on Continental Cross contacts. Also notice this Type S badging, and there's a lot of nice details around this vehicle. Some of the unique design cues include this indentation here that's also got a black trim line and the lower sill plates that are gloss black, as well as the roof rails, which come in gloss black on the Type S. Coming around to the back, the Type S also has this upper airfoil as well as the integrated satellite radio. Your wiper blade is here. Kind of wish it was tucked up underneath. It just makes for a cleaner looking vehicle, especially if it's going sporty. A lot of the competitors do have that. Your Acura logo here is more reasonably sized. And then you got your LED taillights with that Type S on this side and the MDX here. Down here, super handling all-wheel drive. We'll cover that in the drive portion. These vehicles with super handling all-wheel drive will go through any weather, and this vehicle is designed for that with different drive modes. You'll also notice these quad exhaust. Really nice, and the vehicle sounds actually has a good exhaust note to it, but it's still pretty quiet inside the cabin, and we'll show you that on the drive portion as well. You'll notice some of this black gloss trim and that rear splitter. This is all to integrate this vehicle to its competitors, which come from BMW, Audi, Jaguar, Genesis, and of course Lexus, and many others. When you put the vehicle into reverse, you can see that you have different choices for which way you would like to see that's going on, and the wheel will turn with the markers so that you can see. The quality of this camera is really critical, and it is crystal clear, which is not true with everything in this category, but this one is really impressive. And because this vehicle sits high, there is excellent visibility. It has cross traffic alert, around view camera, as you can see, and the visibility is excellent. There are 3 rows in this vehicle, so you have captain's chairs in the 2nd row and seating for 2 in the 3rd row. Starting with the front row, you've got lumbar on both sides and 9-way massaging seats. That is a very nice touch for this vehicle, and other cars in this category have the same thing. The material is really nice. It's leather. In this case, it's beautiful cream color with gray stitching, really stylish and very modern. There's additional adjustments on the seat itself, and overall the comfort is excellent, and it gives it a really nice ride on those long highway drives. Let's take a look at the 2nd and the 3rd row, and I'll show you some interesting things that you probably didn't know. Heading into the 2nd row, you have manual window screens to protect whoever wants to sit in the 2nd row from being blinded. Behind the center console, you've got your climate control, 3-stage heated seats, and of course you can adjust things with the vent. There's different power outlets. You get your 12-volt, your USB-A, as well as a regular wall outlet. The 2nd row has 3 latch attachments, which means you can put 3 child safety seats across this vehicle. Excellent. Also, you get that ELS audio system in the door. To put down the center seating, you pull that little lever, and this then becomes captain's chairs in the second row. And 2 cup holders, a little bit of storage, really nice feature. In addition, you can remove this if you wish and make it captain's chairs. Like I was saying earlier, it's meant for 2, 2, and 2, but these seats also move forward and back as well as recline, because when you have child safety seats, sometimes you have to do that. So you can remove this, go to the second row, or there's another way. All the way back here in the third row with this center console down, you have a little space to put the things that you want, as well as cup holders in the sides and USB-A connections. It is very tight back here. I'm 5'8" and I'm all legs, so for me this is a little bit tight. However, I'm shorter in the torso and there's still plenty of headroom. I suggest whoever would sit in the third row on a regular basis. It's also important to note there are no child safety seats in the third row, and these headrests do fold down, and that is something you might need if you're putting something long here, or you just want to fold those seats down and have that extra storage. Another way to get out of the third row instead of crawling over things, which you could, is there's a button behind each seat. You press the button, the seat moves forward for easy entry and exit. With the third row up, you have 13.1 cubic feet of storage, and there's some secret storage under here, which is also good if you've got groceries that are tall. It gives you that little extra height. Now, to put down this third row and the second row, you have a maximum of 95 cubic feet of storage. Pull this lever and push, and the seats go down, and also you can fold down the second row seating as well. When it comes to technology, there really is a lot of cool stuff here, and one thing that drives me crazy. We'll start off with the center screen in front of you. It's got all the gauges, they're digital. As you change the drive modes, it also makes a little noise, but it also changes along with you, and the height of the vehicle changes based on which drive mode that you need, because that's what adaptive suspension does. And of course, if you hold that Sport button with that dynamic mode change, you go into that Sport Plus mode. One of the neat things is you see that little picture of the Acura MDX right here. You hit the brakes, it turns on. It also does the turn signals with the brakes or without. I think it's just a nice little thing. Also, it shows other vehicles if you're coming up next to another vehicle. The dial on the right changes with the dial on the right side of the steering wheel. You can turn that to get additional information depending upon what you're looking to access while driving. And on the left side of the steering wheel, that's going to be your drive modes. You also have paddle shifters as well as your standard stalks, which is nice right here, easy to use, and your wiper blades both front and rear. On the driver's door, you've got 3 memory seat settings, which is really nice, your standard controls. If you press this button here on the right, you can access your safety features in the right gauge pod. This is for your heads-up display, which is really crystal clear and works even with polarized lenses. When you press that safety button on the right gauge pod, you can turn on or off the lane departure, blind spot detection, cross traffic alert, whatever you're looking to turn on or off. Moving over to that center screen, it is not a touch screen. If you want to touch that navigation, it's not letting you do it. You have to use the mouse down below. I find that extremely frustrating, and the mouse is equally as frustrating, although it's better than in the past. So if you go to that navigation, you got to play around with this mouse. You got to get used to it. You can get that navigation to load. It's okay. It's not my favorite part of this whole vehicle. There's other nice things in this vehicle: satellite radio, FM. You also have AM. You can do shortcuts, put your favorite thing in there, Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. You can swipe over Bluetooth, your social playlist. I'm not sure what that necessarily means, but I'm sure you do if you listen to a lot of podcasts. AM radio, your cabin talk, which is fabulous for talking to the kids in the back when they're not listening to you. Your AT&T hotspot, Alexa, if you use Alexa. If you like her, Acura Link messages, and that's just one of my favorite radio stations. I was just playing around. And if you swipe over, you can get a list also as well. And you don't have to use that split screen. There is a split screen adjustment that allows you to pick the different adjustments. This is the touchpad I cannot stand. You can put in that little side pod or not, pick what you want, or hit your home button. I find this very frustrating personally, and I'm sure you get used to it if you own it, but this is the major negative to this vehicle. Going further down, you have this nice gloss black trim detail. It is nice, and everything's soft by the way. You've got all soft touch materials everywhere. Beautiful quality materials. That is excellent. Your climate control is here. You've got automatic, of course, for your cooling, and then there's automatic for the seats. And there's also 3-stage heated, 3-stage cool, or automatic. It'll go based on the temperature setting. In the middle, you've got your drive modes. You just turn that dial to what you want. This is your park, reverse, neutral, drive. Very easy to use. Your auto stop, which I put in, your brake hold. And on this side, this is kind of neat. It's very high tech. You can put that down if you don't have to be charging anything, or you don't want to use the wireless charger, or you can pop that right back up. 2 cup holders, some extra storage for whatever you want to put there. Your volume control, this is for tuning. This is a rest for your wrist while you work on this very frustrating keypad. Key fob has a Type S on it, really nicely done. And then on the other side, because a lot of people are asking, it does have the engine hold to start it, and of course a trunk, and you're locking in emergency. Nicely done. Your wireless keypad is right here. You can shut that off as well. There's a button to shut it off if you just want to put things there. One other detail to note is Acura was smart enough to put a nice little power outlet here, because that's good for a radar detector or if someone would like to charge something from the passenger side. In the center console, you have 2 steps. One is your nice deep center console. There's additional power outlets and plenty of storage. There is also a little area up top if you want to just put some change or a pen or a piece of paper just in case. Nice soft touch, real stitch material. The seats are really, really nice, and I'm really impressed with the materials and the quality of the build. Gigantic sunroof or glass roof. Look at that, really nice, pretty quick to put it back and forth. And all that is part of a standard package that comes with a Type S. Under the hood is a new 355 horse, 354 pound-feet of torque Type S turbocharged 3-liter V6 engine. It has 15.1 pounds of boost at maximum. This is a 5.3-liter base engine, but that turbo gives it that extra get up and go. With a 10-speed automatic transmission, fuel economy combined, 19 seconds, 0 to 60, 5.5 seconds, 5,000 pound towing capacity. All Type S's are super handling all-wheel drive with torque vectoring, air suspension, specially tuned adaptive dampers, Brembo front brakes, different drive modes, new lift mode for that extra 50 millimeters of ground clearance for that deep snow and hazardous road conditions, and automatic load leveling. So there are different drive modes for this vehicle. You can go into the normal, the comfort, or snow mode, and there's a lift mode if you need to get over some deep ruts or whatever that might be. We're going to go into the sport and then hold it or dial, and you go into the Sport Plus mode. Now this will give you that 0 to 60 time of 5.5 seconds. It is very punchy, very reactive, and 5.5 seconds is pretty good compared to its competitors. You've got the GV80, we're looking at the Audi Q7, the BMW X5, and a lot of cars in this category, including from Jaguar as well as from Land Rover. And the one thing there's tons of brands that compete in this area, Lexus and Infiniti as well. The one thing that's important to note is this vehicle really has that little extra punch, and the reason it has it is because it is a Type S, which means every single vehicle has this super handling all-wheel drive, which gives it that all 4 wheels driven, so you're going to get the most performance, the best power down to the ground. Here we go. Feel, take right off. It wants to go. And by the way, it's got Brembo brakes in the front, which comes in the Type S package, and that is excellent because it's not just about go power, it's about row power. And that's really, really important. I think people don't think about that. They think how fast something is. You need to think about how well it brakes, and it's done an excellent job with that. Overall, the handling is extremely confident. I mean, this is one of the vehicles for Acura that is their big seller. It's a 3-row SUV that has performance. Now, this is a very popular category on that luxury end. You're starting to see a lot of brands getting into that premium performance area because that's what certain customers want in that area. But what's also important is all the safety features are standard on the Type S, and it is an IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus. But that's really, really important and something not to overlook. So when all those safety features are standard, you can go into the main screen and you can adjust them. I'm one that hates lane change departure, but I do like forward collision warning. It's very easy. Like, I'm watching this moron here who's going to back into traffic and not even realize I'm there, but he stopped, thank goodness. But I've had a lot of situations lately, I don't know if it's just COVID driving or what, but people are making some dumb choices, and you need to realize that sometimes you can't see them, but the car can. And it will give you a brake warning, it will tell you in advance, and that will help save you. If you like the lane departure, you can adjust its different settings. Again, all of that is in the settings screen. Also, on the left side of the steering wheel, there's a button that's a picture of the car with a circle around it. That's where you can go in, you press that button, and then it changes everything right here in front of you. You can add and subtract if you want blind spot detection, you want rear cross traffic alert, whatever that might be. I like all of them. I'm just not a fan of lane departure warning because it vibrates, and you can have it with an audible warning as well. Forget about that. I'm here to drive a car. If you drive a car and pay attention, then you definitely want some of those things adjusted to your liking. There's no right or wrong, whatever works for you. And if you're one that doesn't pay attention, you've got lots of distractions, put all the safety features on their maximum. It's to your benefit and those that ride with you, your precious cargo. This vehicle gives you a lot of confidence, and that's what I think is important. When you're competing against German cars, and this is a Japanese brand, you really have to give it the best. And I think Acura's done a fabulous job. This is the first time you've seen a Type S in an MDX, in an SUV for Acura, and they've succeeded in making a really nice car. Now let's talk about pricing. The Type S starts at $66,000. Our Type S has the advanced package. It's all-wheel drive, as all of them are, and it came in at $72,550. This is a pretty well-loaded vehicle. This is the way they're going to sell most of the vehicles in this category compared to some of the competitors. Remember, you're looking at the Germans, you got the Japanese, you got the Korean brands, you've got the British brands. Everybody's in this luxury performance space. So here are the pros and cons. It was a really nice balance of handling and a comfortable ride. Good 0 to 60 time, excellent cargo space, tons of standard safety features across the lineup, which I do appreciate. Comfortable seating, really did a nice job as far as all the interior cabin space. Everything was excellent. But there's one negative that drives me absolutely crazy, and that is that touchpad and getting to certain things. We naturally want to touch the screen like you would on your phone or your tablet or whatever it might be. Even laptops are doing that now. Why can't we get this on these center screens? It should be standard that you have your choice whether you want to use a mouse, you want to use a dial or buttons, or touch that center screen, and you cannot. So that's my biggest negative for this vehicle. However, I suggest that you test drive this vehicle as well as the competitors. The Genesis GV80 is a main competitor. The Lexus, of course, BMW X5, Audi Q7. You got your Land Rovers. You've also got your Jaguar F-Pace. They're all in this category. They're 3-row SUVs, and there's even more. GM has them, Ford has them. So don't forget to look at the Lincoln and the Cadillac lineup as well. We've reviewed them all. I didn't go through every single little detail on this vehicle. We'd probably be here an hour. So ask your questions down in the comments. If you bought an MDX and you ordered one with a Type S package, you're a very lucky person. This is going to be an excellent choice and has excellent resale value. Let's start the conversation so that people understand, is this the best choice or is it something else? Because your opinion matters and knowledge is power. I call that car smarts. So don't forget to subscribe and click that little bell for notifications, because we're going to be covering even more than that. Also in the description down below, our podcast, our website, access to all of our information is down there. We appreciate your support on our Patreon page, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.